What is up, everybody? Today I'm going to be taking you on a 20-mile long run. Now, I did this out on a trail that is an absolute burner because I've been running a lot on treadmills and out on the roads and on groomed trails. So I've been getting a little cocky, getting a lot of good elevation gain on the treadmill, but I end up getting cocky and then I go out on the trail or go out on the course that I'm actually going to be running and I get my ass absolutely handed to me. So I wanted to make sure that I find a trail that perfectly simulates or as close as possible simulates the Grindstone 100 trail, the gain, the footing, the single track, whatever it may be, try to simulate it as much as possible and then get a lot of runs on that actual trail so it can mimic somewhat of what I'm actually going to be running because, when you're running in a air conditioned house on a treadmill, it is good work, but it's not the same as being out there and grinding your way through single track trails. But if you haven't been following along, my name is Wayne Capicillo. I'm getting ready for the Grindstone 100. Ran it in 2018, got my ass absolutely kicked. About 33 hours it took to actually complete that run. And it just completely kicked my ass. So I'm training really hard for this Grindstone 100 this year. Let's get right into it. Let's get out on the trail. We're going to pick up about 2 miles into the run where I'm explaining what ridiculous, absolute freaking basically Asian grandma gardening outfit that I actually wore out on the trail today. So enjoy the run and we'll have a nice outro after all the clips play out.
If you check out my fit, it is absolutely ridiculous. Check it. You get plus 10% ultra skills the stupider you look. I have my ridiculous hat, my BRCC long sleeve to protect me from the sun, keep in some of that moisture so I can have some self-cooling with the gear that I'm wearing. So right now, what I have in my arsenal is 4 of these soft flasks with 200 calories each bottle. And then I have 2 of these gummies that are 200 calories each. And I'll take one of those every hour. So I'll be getting around 300 calories every hour. How I'm carrying all this is all in a naked belt and then hand carried. So I'm practicing a lot on having my pack and my gear really minimal so I don't have to carry a lot of stuff. And I want to try to do that for races a lot more just because it's so awesome. Kind of like, man, when will this incline end? I'm dying. Trying to be as minimalist as possible. And I think a lot of ultra runners, especially, kind of do this where they start very minimal. They bonk out, and then they start going down the gear list. And they end up looking like a freaking transformer running down the trail. And I did that probably last year and the year before, where I had just a shitload of gear, and a lot of times I don't even use it. With aid stations and crew and all the support that you have on a trail, there is a lot of ways you can make running very minimalist. I think actually for the Yeti 100, for most of the race, I actually only had my naked belt, and I'd plus up all my gear with my drop bags and stuff that I had at the aid stations. So you can be pretty minimalist with what you run with if you have it very narrowed down on how many calories and nutrition you actually need. I'm a heavy sweater, so I have to carry a lot of bottles with me, especially for these runs. Especially with these runs that have aid stations that are a lot further away from each other. But I make it work. So I hand carry this bottle. I have 2 right here, side by side on my naked belt, and then these John G shorts. You can tuck a water bottle on the side right here. So these John G shorts are awesome because the naked belt and John G shorts combo, it's awesome because everything is just kind of sucked to your side, sucked to your legs, and you don't really have to worry about stuff bouncing around. So right now I'm at 2 miles, 2.2, 27 minutes with 345 feet of elevation gain. So what I'm targeting is a simulation run or the Grindstone 100, where I'm going to be getting about 150 to 200 feet of elevation gain per mile. And that's why I specifically seeked out this trail. So I got that gear on, and then the shoes I'm rocking are the Vanish Tempos. They're road shoes, but on nicer trails, they can work. All right, so we are 9 miles, 9.6 miles, 1 hour, 43 minutes with elevation gain of, just ate a bug. The elevation gain of 1,400 feet. So kind of slowing down a little bit. I just ate total shit. I just ate a big old pile of shit. I was charging down the hill, not paying attention, listening to a podcast, hit a rock. And when you're going downhill and you hit a rock when you're going fast, you don't fall down the hill, you fly down the hill. So that's what I did. But there is a good lesson learned on eating shit, and that is the good old classic tuck and roll. Whenever you're about to fall and you know you can't catch yourself, you know you're gonna eat shit, don't stick out your arms, because that's how you get breaks. That's how a finger gets dislocated, a shoulder gets dislocated. Learn how to tuck and roll. The old tuck and roll. Tuck your chin in, tuck your arm in, take the brunt of the force on your side, kind of like a judo throw or jiu-jitsu throw if you've ever done that, and roll with the actual fall, and it'll help you out tremendously. I flew. I Superman flew and hit the side, rolled with it, and I pretty much went out clean. I mean, I got a little bit beat up on my hand, a little on my knee, but once I felt my knee touching that ground, I made sure that I slid my shoulder under and tucked my chin. If anything, the biggest thing you want to do is tuck your chin in whenever you're about to fall, because the whipping of the head, that's where the big injuries, the concussions will happen. So if you have a mat, if you have a yard, practice tucking and rolling if you never have before. because it can literally save you. You can save your run. All right, so you can see this is exactly what I hit right there, and then I fell right about here, slid my sass down. Pretty sure that's from the camera or my pole or something that actually dug in the ground. So you can see how slowly I'm moving up this hill. It's because it is quite steep, and that's why I ate shit. So those little guys, it seems very clean running, like you can start moving fast, and you can if you're watching, paying attention. But those little guys, like that little root, that'll get you. These little guys right here, they'll make your foot turn, your ankle turn. You can eat some mad shit. So, I mean, speaking of shit, you can eat some mad shit. But just be careful when you're bombing down these hills, because, oh, they'll get you. All right, so we are 16.25 miles in, 3 hours, 2 minutes, with a total ascent of 2,412 miles. So, a little cooked right now. The sun kind of burnt me up. And then just the workouts for the week have been kicking my ass because I've been pushing a little bit harder, which is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted for this long run. It was just like an absolute ass kicking. So it's exactly what I wanted. One thing that is annoying is my lungs are starting to close up. So my lungs get a little funky when there's a lot of pollen. So I'm not sure if I have to start padding my runs with some inhaler, some albuterol, maybe that'll help. And then bring my inhaler with me, which sucks. But it is what it is. So right now, still running, still moving really well. Just power hiking anything that is about 15% grade. I'll hike it up just so I can practice that power hiking and not to overcook my legs for the coming weeks. So take it a little bit easier going back, but still being very specific with what I'm doing out on the trail. All right, we're done with the run. I got about 19 miles, 19.2 or something. And then I had about a mile left to hit 20 miles. So I'm just in the parking lot, cooling down or doing some strides, very, very slow strides, just to lock it in, change up the pace, keep my body guessing a little bit at the very end. So I have this big parking lot that I'm just doing a little lap around. It's about 0.15 long. I'm jogging a long way down, walking this little path, and then doing strides back. So I'm on my third one right now. So what I'm focusing right now is just body awareness. Dying. My dick's about to fall off. but just focus on body awareness, and where there's tweaks and pains, they'll really come up. If I'm favoring one side, that'll also come up. So just focusing on that right now, and putting in some extra work. So we got a couple more, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. All right, that's number 4. So I think I got away from this run pretty easy, or pretty clean. I have a little hot spot on the ball of my foot, and then my knee, my hips are a little sore when I fell, but I think I got away from that fall in this hot ass run pretty clean. So I think I got like 1 or 2 more, and I should be good to go. I'm gonna put this camera away so I don't fucking look like a psychopath with my shirt open and shit. Holy shit.
There you have it. That was the long run. It ended up being 20 miles with a moving time of 3 hours, 51 minutes, and 42 seconds. I was moving a lot slower than I wanted to, but I got the work in that I was actually looking for. And that the mission for today was to get my ass absolutely kicked. And I succeeded very well on that. My legs are absolutely destroyed. I got freaking burnt out from the sun, and I got to focus on the things that I wanted to focus on for this long run. Number 1, what I wanted to focus on was kind of taking the pacing, the effort level that I'm actually doing out on these well-groomed trails near my house and on my treadmill, and then trying to apply that to the simulation run or the simulation trail that has a lot more elevation gain, that's a single track, and try to put that same effort and pace on that trail. Now, my pace on this trail is about 30 seconds to a minute slower than what I'm doing on the treadmill and on the nice road. So it is very, very important that I know that. So I'm not just going out to the Grindstone 100 course and trying to maintain the pace that I'm actually training at. So I can focus on speed, power, consistency at home, on the treadmill, on the trail, and then really focus on technique and building those specific muscles out on the simulation trail that I ran today. So that's going to be a really big focus, getting back out to that trail as much as possible, at least once or twice a week. So there you have it. If you like that long run and this content, think about subscribing to my channel. It does really help. We're going to be doing a lot more training leading up to the Grindstone 100 in September. And then we're going to be doing probably like a 50K and maybe some bigger adventures leading up to this Grindstone 100. I have a 50 miler that I have to do, but I can't really find a good race to run in August, just because there's not that many, because August is like super fucking hot and people don't want to melt their asses off for 100 miles or 50 miles during August. So I might do like a cool camping weekend, high volume, like weekend camp trip thing. I'm still trying to figure it out. But we're going to have some cool content coming in. We're going to have a lot of good training coming in, because we're really focusing on volume and specificity of training during this lead up for the Grindstone 100. But as we always say, stay consistent. Consistency is king, and make sure that you're chipping away, becoming an average savage. Do not fear getting your ass kicked, because getting your ass kicked is where you learn so much. I always make sure that I specifically look at my training and find runs that I can recover properly from and be like, okay, this is going to be my ass kicked run, and this is going to be my ass kicked run, and this is going to be my ass kicked run. I go out specifically to make sure that I'm getting my fucking ass kicked, where I start the run and I have little butterflies in my stomach and I'm like, oh, we're going to fucking put in some goddamn motherfucking work, and we're going to get our fucking asses kicked on this trail. Because through that pain, through that fucking ass kickery, that's when we actually learn. That's when we start adapting to that pain and we can proceed forward. So do not be afraid to get your ass kicked. Actually go out and seek it out. So go out there, become an average savage, seek out some pain. See ya. Bye.